All right, welcome back to MSHGQM and to building external tools part 2. It is I, Greg Deckler, and we're going to pick up where we left off in part 1. As you can see on the screen, I still have our PBI external tool project and solution open, and we're just going to do a few things. I've got them written down here. We're going to add an icon. We're going to add the license. Add an installer project and get you guys a custom installer. I think that's all I really need to do to have this thing up and ready to go. And then I will zip up the code and all that and put that out in the MSHGQM GitHub repository, the Microsoft Hearts Greg's Quick Measures repository, or maybe it's still called Microsoft Hates. I can't remember. Changed it. Anyway, I did kind of skip over one thing I wanted to show everyone. And remember, we set that in the main window closing. We set the closing to be on main window closing, as well as I think one of the last things we did was we set this X name to main, and so that means that this element is supposed to fill up the main, and then this one, and then convert between them so that they don't, what we had before where they're both showing up at the same time. We didn't want that. So that on main window closing, why are we doing that? Well, we're doing that because what we're doing here is saying property settings default save. Okay, so now with this base project doesn't have any settings, but if you think about like Conductor, for example, Conductor has the external tools directory, and it has your external tools backup directory. Those are actually settings. And they're settings so that when you set them within the interface, right, then those, they get saved and then they get loaded. So the way you do that more or less is that you can come in here to properties, and you can create settings here if you want. So that creates those settings. And anyway, I'm not going to get into it. Might get into it when we actually implement this as a real Power BI external tool. I'll show that a little bit of that to you and how that works. But that's how it works. So if you set settings here, that little code, when you exit the application, will save those settings for you. So that's all that's doing. Okay, we need an icon. So we're just going to use our default MSHGQM icon. So let's see. Yeah, here we go. So we want that guy. So Heather, okay, so that's copy. Gotta get used to that. Oh, and that's my external tools directory. This is my PBI external tools. We'll just drop this icon file. Where's this paste? Icon.ico, and then we're going to want that MIT license. Probably should include that. Okay, original K Uncroft MIT license. Okay, so it's MIT license. This is allowing me to copy it. Copy raw contents. There we go. So drop that out, drop that out, drop that out. And probably just the easiest way is to say add new item, general text file. That sounds fine. We'll call it license.text. Add that in. Resource, we want to set it to content, and we want to copy it so that it ends up it doesn't really matter. I don't have to copy it, but whatever. Okay, MIT license, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And in my opinion, the MIT license is a great open source license. Basically gives you carte blanche to do whatever you want to with it. The only annoying part is I don't know why they do is like, oh, you need to, the above copyright notice and this permission notice should be included in all copies or substantial portions of the software, whatever. I don't care about that. I'm giving you a license to do whatever the hell you want to with it. So do whatever the hell you want to with it. Go build a commercial piece of software for it. Don't care. This is the only thing that's ever annoyed me about this license. If you're going to make it free and give me all the rights to do whatever I want to with it, then just give them to all the rights to do whatever you want to with it. Don't go in and put restrictions and this and that. It's the hypocrisy of open source. It's incredible sometimes. But this is probably the best one that's out there, in my opinion. Now we need to add in our icon. So add an existing item. And we're in images. So is it going to show up here? Icon. Yep, icon. We're just going to add that in there. So now we have my lovely grinning face. And now we need to set that. You know, we might as well clean this up a little bit. So height, width, oops, don't screw it up. Background. And where do I have the code for that I want to put for the icon? I was using Conductor, which is over here on this page, which I think has an icon specified. No, it does not. Okay. So I need to go find another. Here. Sorry, you guys can't see this. There we go. Icon. Again, I don't like having to remember all the stuff that you need to do. Okay, so we just need to change this to our, not screw it up again, and put an S on the end. And that is not this icon. It is called icon. And it resolves. Yay. So now, in theory, when we launch this thing and run it, it's going to have that little icon show up in the corner, which you'll probably want to change in your own application. But we're not going to change it in this one. Okay, so that was we added the icon, we added the license, and get back to it. Now we need the installer. Yeah. Okay, we did this in Conductor, I believe. This shouldn't be too crazy hard to do. So let's make sure to see if we can do this again. Okay, we do it down here. Add. I want to add new. Well, am I not seeing what I want to do? Add. There it is. New project. Man, I was missing that totally. Okay, new project. And what we want is a setup project. And we're going to call it PBI external tool setup. You know what? Just like that. Okay. Great. Okay, we've got PBI tool external tool setup project now. Yeah, GDEC. Okay, so there's a bunch of settings that we can set for this. Let's make sure we go through. Backward compatible ID generation. Okay, let me look at some of my other ones. Again, I don't remember all these settings, what they all should be, or what I normally set them to, but want to be consistent. Oh yeah, that's incompatible. I got to go look at this one. That's Time Machine, so I don't want that. I got too many things going on. Okay. Conductor Installer. Okay, so add remove programs icon. Oh, I think I do that later. So I have to add some stuff. Okay, ID, backward compatible ID generation, false. True, install all users. We'll set that to true. Author, well. Manufacturer. Greg Deckler. manufacturer URL. I'll grab that from over here. We're just going to point this to the GitHub directory. Okay. What else do we have here? Product code, product name, push Gookum, PBI, external tools setup. All right. Remove previous versions true, even though that hardly ever works from what I've seen. Let's see, anything else here? Okay, YouTube video. We're going to put that as our support URL to my YouTube channel. Title, PBI tool, external tools, setup. Version 1.0, sure, why not? I'm not all into that whole 0.9 blah 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 stuff. This should be basically what we're going to do. All right, so now I've got my settings set. So now I believe I need to add project output. And we're going to add the primary output, localized resources. We don't need debug symbols, content files. Source files? No, source files. Sure, why not? Runtime, locally copied items, whatever. That's fine. Okay, so now we've got that added in. I think those are the normal things that I add in. It found my dependencies as far as that stuff goes. And now I think, since I have that added, maybe not. It doesn't matter. I don't need an icon for the I thought it always I thought it would have appeared here. The icon that I see. Oh, did we? Aha. It's a resource. Maybe if I set it to content. Do I set it to content? My other ones? Now I'm curious. So that's set as a resource, do not copy. And that's probably why it's not showing up. But now that I set that to always copy, now does it show up? No. Whatever. I don't care. It'll just have a default icon. Blah. Somebody can, if somebody knows how to fix that, put it in the comments or something in this video. Okay, we have our installer project. Now the other thing we need to do is the properties. No. PBI installer. View, and then our custom actions. Okay. Add primary output from, so for install, I'm going to add a custom action. And then for uninstall, we're going to add a custom action. Okay, so all this is doing is saying is, and I'm not going to try to explain how installers and all that work. And this is just your default base installer. You need to install that separately from Visual Studio. It's a separate download and install. I mean, they have one each for like Visual Studio 22, Visual Studio 2019, etc. But I believe that is what I did for my Conductor, View, custom actions. Yeah, primary output. So then you actually need an installer class within your project, which is then going to, provide these custom actions. All right. So let's get that done. So again, I'm going to come here, add new item. Say C#, and I think it's called installer. Installer class, there it is. And installer1.cs, sure, why not? We'll just leave it at that. That's fine for us. So we're going to add that in. And now we have our installer1.cs here. And obviously it doesn't do anything currently. So we need to make it do something. And I've got code for that. If I just need to bring it up here. Okay. It looks like oh, yeah. So I'm just going to copy this code from over here. And it looks like it goes here. Okay, obviously we're missing some stuff. I'll just copy it all. Okay, there we go. And obviously these grayed out ones I don't really need in here. So let's just okay, so we're gonna have to modify this a little bit. I have to imagine. Oh, you know, the other thing, it would be really helpful to have before we start down this path, it'd be really helpful to have the JSON file. So we're going to need, so basically what the custom installation piece is going to do is that it's going to copy that JSON file that into the external tools directory for Power BI, right? So it needs one of these pbitool.json files, which look a little bit like, of course it's on the other screen, like this, right? So we've probably seen these. And this is where, you know, so this is what shows up in the toolbar. This is what the tooltip is. Here's the path to the file where it's going to get installed. And then the argument. So this is where like the server equals %server% and %database%. So Power BI, you know, fills in this %database% with the actual database name, %server% with the actual server name. And then this icon data is base64 icon data, which is the icon that shows up. All right, easy enough. But we need one of these. So what we're going to do is we might as well add that now before we get into coding anything else. And what we want is a JSON file. And we're going to call this PBI external tool.pbi tool.json. I got 2 dots in there. All right, that should be good. Yep. Okay, so now we have an empty JSON file. So let's go to, where do I want to get this? Let's start with, no. Nope, wait, do I have this in somewhere else? Nope, not there. Yeah, this works. I should have a JSON file here. There we go. Open with Notepad. The reason I'm using this one is because I'm just going to reuse the same icon data. So that icon data should be my my smiling mug, if you will. Okay, so version 1.0, and we're going to call this Power BI external tool template application. Well, I capitalized all those. Desktop tool template application. Okay, Microsoft hates great measures path. Let's just in case, let's do this PBI external tool path. Percent server, percent database, and then this icon data should remain the same because it's just that's fine. I'm not going to create a special icon for this thing. And I am going to need this. Okay. Let's go ahead and save that. So now we have, we better check this build action. Better set this to content, and we better set it to copy it. I think that is, we at least need it to be content. I'm fairly certain. PBI, it's always fun trying to find the same stuff in other projects. PBI tool, there we go, content, copy always. Okay, yep. Okay, yeah, because when it gets installed, you want this to end up in the installation directory for the application as a piece of content so that then the installer can pick it up and copy it into the right location, which is what we need to do now. Yeah, this. Okay. So, you don't have to worry about a lot of this code. This is so this is a context. This is I think this is fairly particular to like your it's component model or something like that. But anyway, this is just grabbing the current context parameters and the assembly path. So basically, I'm getting where is this exe installed? Okay, and then I convert that to a directory name. Okay, and then PBI dir expand environment variables, common program files, Microsoft shared, Power BI desktop, and then external tool directory is my external tools. My shared directory is program files, Microsoft shared, PBI. I don't know why I have this. Doesn't matter. Blah, 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 external tools, external systems, like these are the same. This one has that on the end, the other one doesn't. Okay, string PBI tools JSON template is after. Okay, so we called this. Yeah, if you heard my stomach growling there, it's because so I had to. So the break was I was going out. I had to run out and grab some groceries. So now I've got some short rib marinating and some Korean barbecue. That I'm gonna grill up later. I've been thinking about it. It's making me hungry. And then I also got some stuff to make a pot roast, which I'll throw in tonight in the slow cooker. So I'll be all set. Okay, so what this code is doing is we're checking to see if this PBI directory exists. If it doesn't, then we create it. The same thing for the external directory, because this could be the first external tool that gets created, right, or that you install. And so I learned this on a different one where it's like, oh yeah, I was assuming that these directories existed when they didn't, and that was causing people installation problems. So basically what this first piece of the code does, we check if the directory exists. If not, we create it. External tools directory. If not, we create it. And then our file exists, PBI tools JSON template. So again, we're grabbing the application directory from where we've installed it, and then tacking on this PBI tools, PBI tool.json. So PBI. So what we do is we say, okay, we create a string PBI tools or JSON. We read all of the information in from that JSON file, and then but what we have to do, so we have to replace PBI tool external tool underscore path with the actual location exe name of where this thing gets installed or has been installed. And we have, since it's JSON, we have to do some escaping and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. And then we're going to write this as, we are going to call it, might as well just call it the same, we call it anything we wanted, external tool.pbi.json. And so then, so that's what this is, that's all this is doing. So we're reading in that file, that JSON file, and then we're writing it out to the PBI shared directory. Yeah, I do use this. And that's all that's going on here. So something doesn't seem right about this because I have this PBI shared directory. Seems like this would cause a problem. Let me check Conductor. Well, I think that's where I got it from. Maybe I should have tested out the install to make sure. I don't know if I actually tested out the install. Well, we'll test it out here. And if Conductor's wrong, then I'll go fix that one and re-upload that one as well. Yeah, we're actually definitely going to need to test this. That just doesn't seem right to me, but it may be right to me. It may be right. Okay, well, we'll see where it goes. Oh yeah, that is going to be right because, okay, this is why. So we have this backslash, but in the JSON, it needs to be a backslash backslash. It needs to be escape. So that is correct. That should work just fine. Okay, and then the uninstall is just basically kind of the reverse, right? We go find our external tools directory, do a PBI file, and this needs to change to this guy. We check to see if the file exists. If the file exists, then we delete it. So when it's uninstalled, and then we remove it from the external tools toolbar, and we're done. So we should be fairly ready to go. Let's go ahead and now when we build this, we're going to be able to do a batch build. And let's go ahead and use release. I mean, we haven't really messed around, but we're going to build the release version of our PBI of our application and our external setup, our tool setup installation. So in this directory, we should end up with our MSI file, and this directory would be the actual exe and all that sort of stuff. So in theory, we could always just build this, but I need to make sure that everything builds, everything's happy. So 2 builds succeeded and 0 failed. Okay, well, let's give this puppy a test drive. So see how bad I mess things up, because usually this stuff never works the first time. All right, so here's I am. I'm in my source directory. Go to bin. We used release. And there's that. Okay, so that's right. Where did we end up putting our, well, this is a question. Oh, I screwed up a little bit, and I probably should put this, made this be in the same directory. I forget, there's a setting somewhere that you specify that the project ends up in the same directory as this. I did this stunt once before. I'm trying to determine whether or not I care. I don't think I care. I do care. Where is that? So where did I miss that? Add new project, setup project, next. That's where I missed it. Okay, not the end of the world. Not the end of the world at all. Oh, did it actually? Why did it create that for? All right, we're just gonna unwind this. Okay, so we've got our custom installer. Let's go back to this. We're gonna add a new item. No, not the no. Doing this all wrong. New project, setup project, next. PBI external tool color. I know we did setup before, I think, but we're going to put our installer folder in our actual PBI tool external tool directory. Okay. And now we're going to go back through this process, project output. I want that content files, documentation. See, 1, 2, 3. I think it's something like that. So is that about the same as my other one? Let me just make sure. I like keeping these things consistent. So what I have something here, runtime implementation, locally copied items, primary output. I don't include documentation files. There's no documentation files. And then so I'm looking at something. I don't need a custom icon for the installer. I don't care. All right, so now we gotta set their project properties again because we screwed those up. So let me get my other one up here. Make it a little bigger so I can see more stuff at a time. Okay, so Greg Deckler, backwards compatible, blah, true. Get the URL here, paste it in. Cookum, PBI external tool. Remove previous version. Yes, although that never seems to work. Oh, I want my YouTube video to be the support URL. PBI tool title, PBI tool. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, it looks good. Okay, and so I've got that. I've added the project output. I need to view my custom actions. Add. Okay. Okay. Batch build this again. Okay, succeeded again. Didn't fail. Oh, right. So now, after that sidetrack from pulling that stupid stunt, there we go. Okay, now we have our PBI tool external tools installer, and we have our debug and our release. We did release, so did we do? That's interesting. Why is that a temp file? What? This shouldn't be a temp file. That should be an MSI. What happened? Oh, that's our add remove programs. Like, you kind of want that. I think what I have to do is I have to add we already had that. Because in this one I actually have the conductor icon as part of this. Now I have to wonder how I got that in there. Yeah, those are okay. There's all the stuff that's going to go in there. Well, why is this in here? Okay, we got a couple of things we got to solve here. First, something tells me this is not the way I should be doing this. So once I have that set, then I should be able to do that. Okay. Okay, so I've got that figured out. Build solution. No, no, no. Okay, so that's built. Fine. What I want to do is batch build. Why does stuff always have to be weird sometimes? Why is that a temp file? I don't get why that's a temp file, people. It really is bugging me as to why that's a temp file. Because what did we do? We built Conductor. Yeah. That's a Windows installer package. Did I do something wrong? I'm gonna have to build this stupid thing again. External tool installer.msi. I'm just checking things over. See, it looks more like what I was expecting to see. And there's our installer, and it's 6 megs and stuff. So something, for whatever reason, these are the things that you spend time on that don't make any amount of sense whatsoever and drive you up the wall. So I mean, I could install the debug version of that. It really just bugs the heck out of me in terms of why that release version isn't working. Because it's not like doing anything different. Watch, it'll work. This is, if this works, it's gonna be, man. Oh yeah, of course it works now. Literally changed nothing. Literally changed nothing. I don't want to complain too much about Visual Studio and this, but this sort of stuff drives me up the wall. I mean, you guys watched it all. You guys all watched it unfold on video, man. It's like, oh, go build this thing. I'm gonna screw up. Okay, go build it this with the debug version. Yeah, perfect. Okay, go build it again. Oh yeah, perfect. I get me. I build software also, and there's bugs and things like that. But my God, when things like usually when there's a bug in my code, if you do it, it's going to cause a bug. If you do the same damn thing, it's going to cause a bug. The Visual Studio, man, sometimes it just, you do two things and one time works and one time doesn't. It just blows my mind. Okay, well, anyway, with all of that fun stuff out of the way, and now it is finally time to test this. And why don't I just close all these windows? There's an option, close all tabs. There we go. All right, so in theory, we are to the point where we can go run this MSI that we just created, and the next time that we launch Power BI, then we should be able to, might as well just close this version. Don't save it, and yeah, save. Then we should get, sure, fine, I don't care. Oh yeah, that's for, sorry, that's for a whole different thing that I'm working on. Okay, so we don't have it here, right? We don't have PBI external tool. We did have Conductor, so that Conductor, we did test it, did work. Okay, let's run it. Welcome to MSHGQM PBI external tool setup wizard. That's fine. It's going to install it there. That's fine. I don't care. Wait, back. Everyone, yep, that's fine. Ready to install. Cross your fingers. Yep, do it. Yep, it's done. Okay, so then now in our add remove programs, oh, we can call it PBI or MSHGQM. Okay, might show up here as MSHGQM. MSHGQM PBI external tool. It's got our icon that we wanted. There's our conductor, right? And now if drum roll, I guess I could check my external tools directory to see if that made it there, but we'll just launch Power BI, and if it doesn't show up, then we'll know it didn't make it there. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. MSHGQM PBI external tool. Okay, does it launch? It does. Here's our do nothing Power BI external tool. So there you have it. So what I am going to do then is I'm going to shut down this video probably. You guys don't really care. I'm assuming you don't care about to see me zip this thing up and then upload it to GitHub and all of that. But yeah, there you go. And maybe, I don't know how long this recording's been, but so this is maybe, I've done this a few times, right? And still took me, you guys watched, it still took me 2.5 hours or so to kind of plow through getting this all kind of set up. And so now again, I've done it all. I've done this for every one of the MSHGQM tools, right? Pretty much. So I think this is going to save some time. I mean, the first time, and obviously the first time I did all this, everything took me 10 times longer, right? So hopefully, one, being selfish, this is going to help me out because I'll have a starting point, and we're going to go through that in the next video. We're actually going to use this. I'm going to kind of copy this to a new directory and then see if I can rename everything. See how bad that is. I haven't done that. Usually, I've just been copying over bits and pieces of code as I need it. Yeah, we'll experiment with using this as a template for the annotation viewer that we're going to build. So, step one complete. We built the template app. We've got an installer. We're all good to go. And yeah, so this has been Greg Deckler for MSHGQM, and I'll see you guys in the next video.